The rebellion space is kind of taken up now by Bernie Sanders and AOC getting, energized crowds in the tens of thousands. All due respect, Cenk, I'm a fan of yours. I don't expect that you'd be getting much more than, in the hundreds, maybe the low thousands. I don't see you, steaming them up. Maybe.
Dude, oh my God, is he roasting him? He is literally saying, like, if you went out there and got at a podium, like, nobody would be showing up.
I would argue that President Trump is...
Okay, economic populism. So, dude, look at this face. Jesus, dude. I'm going to go with the hard no on this, right? Dude, do I literally have the greatest pause game on the whole fucking planet, dude? This is frightening. If I saw this guy at the park, dude, I'm putting the kids back in the fucking wagon and we're moving on. All right, here we go.
I would argue that President Trump is making it easy for the Democrats to show that they have better ideas, but that party seems determined to get it wrong. They got Bernie and AOC running around the country selling that government is the solution to everything, socialistic ideas.
Dude, look at this shit, dude. Look at what he said right there. He's piling on against Bernie and AOC. The government is the socialistic ideas. The government is the answer to everything. Dude, they don't want to fight the class war. These upper crust motherfuckers, bro. And right? These guys, enemies of advancement, bro. Enemies of progress. Because let's face it, dude, capitalism is the end of all of us. Okay? Capitalism is suicide. It is, bro. What a fucking piece of shit, dude.
I would argue that
he's probably got a $400,000 a year salary or some shit, right? He is just fucking hitting the cash register like the monkey hits the cocaine bar, right? And then he's like, oh, socialism, that's going to be so bad. Here, hold on. Yeah, no socialism. Only socialism for those of us making $400,000 a year.
They have their lawmakers running to El Salvador when they didn't go to East Palestine. I mean, WTF. The California governor, Gavin Newsom, he said, and I'm sure he thinks that this is a campaign of candor for him. I don't know what the Democratic Party is. Here's what he's getting wrong. You're supposed to know, my brother. You're supposed to know. If you want to be a leader, you can't just go on some listening tour. Leaders lead. They have a vision. They do know. So I guess he's saying he's out. So then who's in? I'll tell you who wants to be in. Co-founder of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur. Just an hour ago, he launched what he's calling a rebellion.
Look at him, dude. God damn, dude. Look at how serious he looks, bro. He's like, this is my big moment. I'm going to get some right-wing populists. Dude, look at him, dude. He looks like he needs to eat some fiber, dude. Cenk, for the love of God, dude, go eat some broccoli or something and have a good shit. You look like you haven't shit in a month, bro.
Movement. I'd say that's redundant. I think he just needs rebellion. He is certain that he knows how to put Democrats back on the path to victory. He
Look
is
at that
here
face.
by the ever reasonable, always optimistic, Geraldo Rivera. It is good to have you both. Geraldo, you listen to Cenk's pitch,
Thanks.
and then we'll pick at him about it. So, what's the rebellion? Why do you think you can take over the party?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. So we need a rebellion because obviously this Democratic Party isn't working. It's at 26%. They lost to Donald Trump. They lost the popular vote, all 7 swing states. So what do they need? I believe that they need economic populism. Donald Trump pretended to be a populist, but as you see now, he isn't. He's passing $5.5 trillion in tax cuts. Today he said, oh, no, of course we're not going to raise taxes on the rich. So it's the same old Republican Party giving away trillions of dollars to the rich and to corporations. But this country wants populism. And the correct answer, in my opinion, is left-wing populism. So what does that mean? It just means bring the Democratic Party back to its roots. What we're going with on rebellionpact.com.
Dude, you don't want to bring the Democratic Party back to its roots because technically our roots were the Southern Democrats and the slavery movement, bro. I mean, maybe Cenk, the N-word spewing guy, does want to bring the Democratic Party back to its roots. But I kind of think we should leave the roots of the Democratic Party in the ground, bro. And fucking, we need to move forward. Just as an aside, right? Let's fucking be realistic here. We don't want to go back, dude. Come on.
Is the 6 most popular proposals the Democrats have, which, by the way, a lot of independents agree with, a lot of even Republicans agree with. So we're not just planning to run in blue districts as we did when I started Just Democrats. We're planning to run in purple districts and red districts. So higher wages, paid family leave, make sure that we got lower drug prices by negotiating at Medicare, lower housing prices, money out of politics, anti-war. This is a super popular plank, and now we're joined by 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, who has joined the rebellion, and he's the first sitting congressman to do that. And on top,
𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 from like a very wealthy district, also class war.
That we've got Richard Ojeda running in North Carolina, 9th district. That's an R+10, but we're going to win that district. We're being very bold here, and when we win those purple and red districts, we're going to make a case to the American people. We're leading. We have a plan. We already displaced Trump's power in Congress in 2026. Now trust us to run the party in 2028, and we'll bring it back to what it used to be, representing the average man.
So my question for him, Geraldo, is he needs a top dog. I'm wondering if he says it's him or has he got somebody else in mind. But what do you think, Geraldo?
Well, I think 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, if indeed the congressman from Silicon Valley has joined this rebellion, I think that is a very impressive gesture. He's my favorite lawman. I believe that he has a tremendous future, and he seems like a pragmatic progressive, not a crazy person. I also think that you gave maybe short shrift to the establishment Democrats. I think either Gavin Newsom or Josh Shapiro could beat Trump if the election were held right now. I think that Trump's definitely tanked a lot of his support, along with the stock market. And the one thing you can't mess with is people's financial security. And I also think that the rebellion space is kind of taken up now by Bernie Sanders and AOC, getting energized crowds in the tens of thousands. All due respect, Cenk, I'm a fan of yours. I don't expect that you'd be getting much more than in the hundreds, maybe the low thousands. I don't see you steaming them up. Maybe. Dude,
oh my God, is he roasting him? He is literally saying, like, if you went out there and got at a podium, like, nobody would be showing up. Dude, I want to go back. Dude, he literally just lit him up right there. Oh my God, the low thousands or the hundreds?
And I also think that the rebellion space is kind of taken up now by Bernie Sanders and AOC, getting energized crowds in the
tens of thousands.
All due respect, Cenk, I'm a fan of yours. I don't expect that you'd be getting much more than in the hundreds, maybe the low thousands. I don't see you steaming them up. Maybe a lot's changed since I've heard you speak to crowds. But
Geraldo, let me just tell you, nothing's changed. You would be hard pressed to even draw hundreds for this guy at this point. He doesn't even have any fans, bro. He has fucking killed his brand.
It just I don't know. I think Trump is beatable. He's beatable on brass taxes.
He's beatable.
Unbelievable.
Geraldo thing terribly.
He's screwing it up. We'll see what he does. He's beatable because he can't run. So,
dude, Geraldo just Geraldo just stepped on Cenk's toys, bro. He came in and like looked at Cenk's favorite toy and was just like, oh my God. Oh, that is epic, dude. He's like, maybe something's changed since I last saw you talk, but like, I don't think you're gonna really pack him in.
Guys, we're going for economic populism. So I'm planting our flag here, and I'm saying if you believe we should go with our most popular policies, and you believe we should go with economic populism, and you think that should be our focus, then come to rebellionpact.com. We're accepting candidates, we're accepting volunteers, and obviously we'll take donations as well. But 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 is a super strong voice, and I love what Geraldo said about him, and he's so reasonable, he's so pragmatic, and he puts a.
See, I think that's part of his problem right? Ro, he's too reasonable, right? I'm tired of reasonable. I want feisty, okay? Right? Think about this. Think about how Cenk said, we're fighters, okay? We're fighters. We're here to get this shit done, right? We're here to take back the party. We're here to conquer, right? Take over the Democrats. We're here to, he says, we're going to get these really big bills passed. We're going to force them through Congress. We're not going to take no for an answer. But you are not going to accomplish any of that with a person who's fucking reasonable, okay? You are not. You are not going to accomplish that. Reasonable people are the people who make fucking concessions. They're the people who take almost there in exchange for not rocking the boat or being too troublesome. You need aggressive, relentless fighters that are willing to slay if you want that crazy shit. You don't get it from people who are reasonable. Okay? You don't.
Great face to progressivism and shows people, hey, look, he calls it economic patriotism. So I think he's one of the really bright lights in our party, and I'm thrilled that he's with us. One of the other things we're going to do, guys, is unlike the establishment Democrats, we're going to be all over media. We're not shy about media. I'm not. None of the other co-founders are. Certainly Ro Khanna, Richard Ojeda, all these guys.
You're getting that. You're talking mechanics where you don't yet have a philosophy. It seems to me you put
we do have a philosophy. I said
ahead of the horse here. Well, I heard you, but you sounded an awful lot like a lot of Democrats I've heard over the years. With all due respect, a lot of liberal Democrats. You want to feed the hungry. You want a minimum wage, and etc. What about DEI? What about the fact that race plays such a noxious role? What about the fact that this is really a country divided, not so much class. I know we like to make it, as colorblind as possible, but there's race is the core of a lot of the distrust between groups.
This is what's so hard about all of this stuff. I disagree with Geraldo. Classism is important, but you cannot talk about American economics without talking about race, without talking about the necessity of equity and DEI-like type programs, and without talking about the classism and the distribution of wealth, right? There is no, everything is horseshit without those lenses being applied, because marginalized groups don't benefit from economic populism. They don't. They always get squeezed out.
I think that what you need is someone popular as well as populist. You need someone with magnetism, with the charisma, who can compete against probably J.D. Vance, I would expect, or Don Jr. maybe. I think that...
Dude, if Don Jr. runs, it's going to be a fucking shoe-in, dude. If that guy, that guy's an idiot.
Republicans are square. Trump is one in a trillion. He's the only movie star they've had since Ronald Reagan, the only one they're likely to have going forward. But I don't see where you squeeze in. I think when you're getting a new product in a market, you go to the store, you go to the Target, wherever it is. Where's my space in the shelf? I'm not sure where the rebellious Democrat space in the shelf.
What kind of ketchup are you, Cenk?
Yeah, so some of those are good questions, Geraldo. So first of all, on culture wars, this group isn't doing culture wars. We're focusing on economic issues.
Yeah, so he's again, though, this is what I take issue with, Cenk Uygur. You cannot focus on economic issues without acknowledging the culture war. Period. You cannot. If you don't acknowledge race, if you don't acknowledge gender, if you don't acknowledge how the core established class and race and gender binary religious structure that sits at the top of America that controls and dictates the economic policies and who has economic power in America, if you do not fight and break that up, you cannot do any type of economic populism. You cannot. You will do a faux economic populism that will only feed those white Christian people, right? It won't feed everybody. There's just no way. Dude, there's no way you can take on economics without that other shit.
So we're not interested in having those debates that are wedge issues that drive us apart. And we talk to the other side. We're willing to talk to everybody. I took a lot of heat for going on right-wing podcasts, independent podcasts, and I'm totally in favor of that. We lost the popular vote.
Good.
We need to regain the popular vote. And you do that by reaching out to independents.
They lost by 1.4% after a disastrous campaign where our guy dropped out in the middle of it after years of, like, Genocide Joe. Like, dude, my God.
Donald Trump is intensely unpopular. Last poll that came out is he's at 40% approval, 59% disapproval. You know why? Because a lot of independents voted for him and they got screwed. And we're giving a real option here now. You come, well, this is not the same old Democratic Party. We're not doing culture wars. We're not doing the establishment nonsense where they never actually pass the bills. Hold us accountable. We are going to pass these bills that America loves.
You can have this line. Less about woke, more about who's broke. Cenk Uygur will be watching. Good luck with it. And Geraldo.
Dude, what an idiot, bro. This guy, less about woke, more about who's broke. Dude, it's more like the people who talk about woke are the motherfuckers keeping us broke. If you really want a slogan, you fucking grimy piece of shit, that's a slogan for you. Oh, Trumpy! Oh, not the woke! Oh, woke touched my pee-pee! Jesus, dude. Wow. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.